with, especially now that all Americans are eligible for the vaccine?
He's asked her to play a leading role, both as a person who is very prominent in the country, and also somebody who has experience on the policy front, determining what the right steps are, engaging with the COVID team, ensuring that we are taking the right steps forward. We have a plan that's being implemented across the country right now, a very robust. Okay. Maybe it's former President Lincoln's ghost. I'm going to go with that. Robust plan that's being implemented, $3 billion focused on getting out to communities. She's involved in all of that. I expect she'll be out and doing more events around the country. So the president's just asked her to play a leading role in this effort moving forward, which she is certainly doing.
But there's nothing specific that he's asked her to do in the near future.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Like what?
Maybe cut a PSA, or potentially have some other sort of event here at the White House with groups. I don't know. That's what I'm asking you to tell me.
Well, okay. I think the president has asked her, as the vice president, to be his partner in this and to be a prominent leader in this effort to address confidence around the country. She's doing exactly that. He's not going to. Their conversations don't involve him directing her to be in a PSA. That happens at a staff level, and she is somebody who travels around the country. She's doing events. I'm certain she'll do PSAs. She'll continue to be involved with the COVID team, with governors, with states, to continue to reach communities where we need to increase confidence, and that will continue to be a role she plays. Go ahead.
Democratic lawmakers have been making the case that the expanded child tax credit should be made permanent. Mm-hmm. They say it's the responsible thing to do to minimize child poverty. And I was curious, what's the administration's take on why it's responsible to let it expire in 2025?
Well, first, there'll be more details. We'll confirm later this evening about what is in the president's speech and what is in the American Families Plan. But largely speaking, the president agrees that the child tax credit has a huge impact on helping families, helping reduce child poverty in this country, which we've already seen an impact of from the implementation of including it in the American Rescue Plan, which is something he did. And he also believes that it helps bring more women back into the workforce. That's why he has been engaging with Congress and why you'll hear him talk more about it in the speech. There is also, and we'll discuss more what members of Congress want to see. Some disagree on this about the length of time and everything. That will be a part of discussions. There's also a cost. It's about $1 billion a year to implement the child tax credit, and certainly that is a part of the discussion that we expect to have with Congress moving forward. Yes.
Has the president spoken to the families of the black men who were killed in the police shootings in Virginia and North Carolina? And if not, has the White House had direct contact with them?
I don't have any calls from the president to read out. I just don't have calls from the team, but I will check on that for you and see if I can get back to you with more details.
And then more broadly, as it relates to India, do you guys have any good understanding of how many Americans in India right now have become sick with COVID? Are there any unique precautions being done to help, I don't know, bring them here in some form? How do you deal with that? And also, can you give us any better guidance in terms of the diplomatic situation there? We believe a lot of Americans at the consulates and perhaps the embassy there.
Yes.
Well, not Americans, but staff there.
Sure.
Have tested.
It's all great questions. I would tend you to the State Department, who will have more in-depth details about this. Obviously, we're working very closely with them, but given they oversee all the consulates, they'll have the specific numbers, et cetera, for you.
Very quickly,
Okay, Steve, how's the State Department weighing in?
Quick, is there an update on the Iran talks in Vienna? Is Rob Malley back there now, and how long do you think this round will last?
So they have been, we always expected the talks would proceed again. So Rob Malley, I believe, is either on his way to the region or there now to take part in an additional round of negotiations. We have felt that even though they're indirect, I should say, that obviously a diplomatic process, diplomatic discussions are the right approach, and we have been encouraged by the fact that they've been continuing.
Time frame on how long this round will last, do we know?
I don't think we have a time frame at this point in time, Steve, but I will check with the negotiators and see. Okay.
One thing on the mask mandate that a observant colleague just called out.
Okay.
You have a order in place that requires masks at all federal buildings and all federal lands.
Yeah.
Is that being tweaked at all given today's guidance on outdoor masks?
So this was a great question. Your colleague in the back, I think, asked a version of. Obviously, the federal government will be certainly looking at the CDC as we make changes or implement these policies. I just have to check on the timeline of that. Yeah. Go ahead.
While we've been in this briefing, the White House, someone else in this building put out a list of nominees, including Ed Gonzalez, the sheriff in Harris County, Texas, to be the head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Do you have anything to say about that selection or about where that should be on the priority list for the Senate's consideration?
Well, certainly, we encourage the Senate to not only consider but confirm qualified nominees. We certainly consider him one of them, but the president looks forward to having someone in place in this position, and it certainly indicates a priority that we've put it out today. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Anything more you can say the president teased to more information next week in terms of getting the country closer to normal by July 4th? What should we expect in terms of additional updates or guidance?
Well, we rely on the timeline and the guidance of our health and medical experts. So I'm not sure they will give you too much guidelines or too much ahead of time, but the CDC, we would wait for the CDC to provide any additional guidelines, and we'll continue to provide updates from here, from the president as appropriate, as we get new advice from our health and medical teams. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Right. Oh, or maybe they're your cameras. Right. It was a little like a ghost, though. It wasn't like it was gonna fall. It's a little like, spooky.